Hello everybody, this is going to be the copy this to that tutorial for the chest package. This is a big update. All the chests have been revamped. Their materials are much better than they were before. They've got the same general look, but they work much better with the PBR than they did before, and there's a lot more options than there was before as well. Now, as you can see, these chests, there's a closed and open version of each. There's the two flat chest, the large and extra large, and then we have a more simple chest, small, medium, large, a mid-range chest that's kind of more tough looking, and an ornate chest that's made more of metal than wood, but you can make those wood as well. So what we're going to do now is basically change this look completely. So keep a mental picture of these because they're not going to look like this for much longer. And we're going to do that with the copy this to that script that we have here. We're going to be using, or you should be using, this cheat sheet here at infinitypbr.com/copy this to that with uppercase letters. For all of our packages that have been updated to the newest system, the newest graph, which is always prefaced with SFB v1 underscore. These are the names for each section here. So flat extra large has these sections, chest, lid, etc. And the whole point of copy this to that is that you can copy one section from one material to a section of another material. So I can copy chest of chest flat extra large, and I can copy that to the chest, the lid, the inside lid of chest flat large. I can copy that to all of these in this one if I want as well. In fact, we do something very similar to that. So let's start with the environmental stuff. I'm just going to add a little bit of ground dirt and surface dirt, nothing else. So I want to go to the chest flat extra large because that's our source for all of these. I'm going to go down to my ground dirt. I'm going to enable that. I'm also going to change the color to something very bright so I can really see the result. And we'll bring the height up, bring the contrast down, bring the roughness up because we want dry dirt. Alright, and bring the level down so it's less thick. There we go. And we'll make this mask metal so that we'll have dirt instead of metal on the parts that are covered. And I'm going to change that to a dirt color. So it's not a huge change, but it's just a little bit that will help keep the material looking like it belongs in an actual scene. We're going to do a similar thing with the surface dirt. Alright, so that looks good. I'm going to now make this the dirt color as well. And I'm also going to make sure this mask is metal. We're also going to check the main enable texture modification. I've added that to the environmental map only because it goes to all the materials, and it's something that needs to be enabled once we start changing the texture out. Select the environmental controller, and as you can see here, the environmental and main on the source will copy to the environmental and main for all the other materials. So we'll just copy those over. You'll want to give your system a little bit to update the settings. The procedural materials do take a few seconds to finish processing, and some systems might take a little bit longer than others. If you do too many of these all at once, you might overload your system and Unity will end up crashing or freezing. So next we're going to change out this wood material for a metal material. We have here a base metal object, and this allows you to create some very simple standard metal materials. So you can see it here. This is a brass, and we're going to do maybe a more rugged metal. So let's look at some of these real quick. Kind of like this steel. It's got some options here for dirt, rust, and imperfections. I'll bring the rust down a little bit, not too much. I do want some rust, but not a lot. And we'll bring up the dirt just a little bit and keep the imperfections, yeah, really high. There we go. That we get some detail in that. And we'll leave it there, and we're going to go up here to the export bitmaps option. The top right corner, there's this export bitmaps. We're going to choose original alpha channels. Either one really works. And on our system, I'm going to choose inside assets, SFB Studios, and SFB chests, export textures, materials, base materials. I'm going to create a new folder called just steel steady steel and choose that. It only takes a split second to export the material to your desktop or to your hard drive. Go ahead and find it on your desktop and call it steel. And I do want to change these from Target to PNG, so I've created this Automator application with Apple's Automator program to change that to PNG. And that cuts down the disk space usage by 10 megabytes per map, so that's 40 meg saved right there. Next, I'm going to go back into Unity, and Unity will now import those maps. So I'm going to select my chest flat extra large, and I'm going to go down to the custom chest area. This allows inputs of the different maps that you can replace the material for. So we find our steel, and we're just going to bring our albedo opacity in, our normal map, metallic roughness, and ambient occlusion. You won't see any changes right now because you have to go back up to the chest section and click this Use Custom Texture button right there. And in a moment we should see the chest change to steel. It is pretty reflective, so one thing I'm going to do is change that. I'm going to adjust that. I'm going to bring the roughness shift up a little bit so it's a little less reflective. There we go. Now it's more of a flat metal box. So one other thing I'm going to change out is the metal bands here. So metal band 1 we're going to change. So again, we're going to go back down to the custom metal band 1 section. I have another material that I've exported already, and that is steel rusty. So I'm going to bring that one in and see what that looks like. So there we go. Now we've got a more rusted version up on top. Again, it's very reflective, and I might not want that to be so reflective. So I'm going to bring up the reflection, the roughness just a little bit, make it a little less reflective. I'm also going to bring down the lightness so that it differentiates between the metal box and the metal bands around it. I'll bring it down just a little bit more, make it a really dark black metal. If you see these doubling there, that's because the height map is up. Bring the height map down to fix that issue. The flat extra large controller here will copy the chest and the metal bands ones and the bolt setting to the rest of this box, but also the other flat box. All you have to do is click the copy settings button and wait a few seconds. There you go. That was real time. I didn't speed up that part. So now we have two completely different boxes that are now metal instead of wood, and they look pretty good. So I want to copy that same similar look to the rest of the boxes as well. And to do that, we're going to start by using the flat extra large to others large controller, and that will copy the extra large data to the large boxes of each other type. There we go, and the ornate one will be harder to see. There we go, it's only updated down there. So now let's check out the simple large, which is right here. The way it looks is actually good already. There's not too much difference between the flat and the simple large. They've got the same basic options. So I'm going to go to the simple controller and copy those settings over to the medium and small simple boxes as well. So we're going to go to the mid-range now. And this one I do want to make a couple extra changes. So this one has more options than the rest, or than the earlier ones rather. The chest is fine, the lid is fine, the inside is fine, but it's got 3 different metal options. So metal 2, I think it is, I want to make that lightness brighter. There we go. And I'm also going to bring the reflection up by bringing the roughness down. There we go. So now we've got a slightly different look. I'm going to do the same to metal 3, which I believe is the sides here. We'll bring the lightness up and the roughness shift down just a little bit. So next we're going to go to the mid-range controller. Click the copy settings button and see them update the next 2 boxes. There we go. Again, they have very similar looks, and if you wanted to adjust which metal color it comes in, you can just change these values right here or create your own if you'd like as well. And lastly, let's do the ornate box. Now these have a lot more options, and so it will take us a little bit more time to get a very unique look. We're going to select this ornate large populate controller, and this is going to copy the chest material to all of these other materials here. It's all metal by default. You can make these wood if you'd like, using the custom settings, but we're going to copy that right now. If I did want to change out some of this metal for another kind of metal, or some of these to a wood instead of metal, we could do that now as well. But I'm going to keep this a pure metal box. Now let's select our material, Chest Ornate Large, and start making some adjustments so it's not quite so bland. It's a pretty neat box, so I'm going to add some color to it as well. Alright, that works for me, a blue on top of the green. And we should see them update. Alright, so that's a better look. I'm really liking the way this reflection works on this design. That'll look great in a dungeon or other environment. So I like this entire set of chests. I'm going to export these objects now. I'm going to export these textures now in order to create materials. These will be Alt 3, and you'll have to download these from infinitypbr.com. If you go to infinitypbr.com, this is my website. Click to log in here at the top. And once you log in, insert your invoice number right here and click Register Package. Then when you scroll down, you'll find your packages you registered in this list, and you'll see, instead of coming soon, you'll see some downloads similar to this Mushroom Monster one. You click the downloads, and you get all these lists here. You can just quickly download these. Reason being, each full set of textures takes 250 megabytes of space. That's only on your system. It's obviously not going to take that much in game because you'll use compressed and smaller resolutions in game, and you won't be using all of them, I imagine. So in order to keep the download from the asset store small and under their requirements, I can't include all of the texture sets that I've created. I've already created 3 different ones, 2 alternative ones, and a dirty and damaged version of the default that has more dirt and more damage added to it. And I'm going to create one more after all this. So go to infinitypbr.com and register your package, and you can download this and other ones for use in game right away, or of course create your own. Once I export the textures, I am going to delete the height and emissive maps that are automatically exported as well, and I'm going to change the format to PNG to save on disk space. You will need to, of course, create materials and populate the materials with the maps you've just imported into Unity. So that didn't take too long. We customized the look of 11 chests and changed the look completely, and it was fairly straightforward and simple. So I'm going to do one more update. I'm going to speed up the video for it,